Better call Zaal.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Better Call Zaal YapZ. I am here with Nikoline. How are you doing today, Nikoline?
I'm doing wonderful. It's here already afternoon in Barcelona. So we
Uh,
had a
that-
very sunny day already.
yeah, it's sunny day here too. It's starting to get into that spring vibe. I think the energy is up all around here. It's great to have you on today. I'm really excited to chat a little bit more with you about what you guys are building with the plural events here all over the globe, and would love for you to give us a little intro on who is Nikoline and how did you get here.
Okay, yeah, let's try to summarize it. It's quite a trip, but it's okay. Um, yeah, I don't come really from like Web3 originally. I studied to be a designer, which basically maybe fits with questioning everything and trying to improve it. So I come from there, and I did a lot of offline communities building. So we set up like a school. I did found like a co-working in one neighborhood in Barcelona. And from there, I rolled into the Web3 because we were already dealing with governance models like sociocracy and other ways to make decisions in big groups. For example, with the school was like about like 200 people, and we set up a sociocratic governance system from the get-go. Like nobody did that before, so we started
That's
that together,
cool.
and it was a very
Well,
amazing
do you want to
project.
just explain what that is, what those words mean?
Sociocracy is basically a framework, like a tool set for governance, for decision making. So it's, if you would see it as holacracy, which is used a lot in the startup world, that's kind of like a stripped out version of sociocracy. But it's a fractal way to grow in specific like circles, that area that have a specific domain, which makes a certain level of autonomy within that domain possible. So it's kind of actually faster to make decisions together, even though it seems very tedious with all these meetings and stuff. But in the end, it's actually the fast way. If
Yeah,
you
I
apply
think
it well, it can go very fast. And
yeah, no, that's awesome. I think there's so much in the way of human coordination that Web3 brings. So it's cool to see that on that bigger level, right? Of how can we get this concept to actually work in reality, right?
yeah, exactly. That is also where I came from, because I mean, even Web3, not Web3, digital, not digital, in the end, we're all it's all groups of humans
Yeah,
working together. So
exactly. It's just
if you
different
know how
communities
to do it
coordinating.
offline and you learn how to do it with people, and then I got to know the Web3 world. Basically, I think the first project that I learned about was Akasha Foundation, and they were building at that moment like a social yeah, social media, but completely decentralized. And yeah, of course, I completely fell in love with everything that was there as concepts, because it completely fitted already with what a lot of people here in Catalonia are doing. And I figured that they are doing the same things with the same values, but they don't know how to talk to each other. They speak a different language. And I really wanted to bring these people together, because yeah, there's so much we can learn from people that are working on the ground with real communities and real projects, and people that are trying to scale everything up for the better in the digital space. So yeah, that is what I decided to do. And I was happy that Lorenzo from Akasha Hub, he saw that potential. So we kind of, he needed someone to boost up the hub, which was created for the Web3 community, basically, especially Ethereum in Barcelona, to come together. And we did that. The first 2 years was there to spice it up, the hub, and to put it a bit on the map. And we did a lot of events. And from there, yeah, roll into other projects. And now we are connecting different hubs like Akasha Hub, but also in the countryside in Europe, and to create systems so they can actually more depend on each other than depend on big grants or outside company funding and all this kind of stuff.
That's awesome. I love that. It just aligns so well with everything we've been doing at the Zaal here for the last few years, trying to find ways to bring that money back to independent artists. And like you said, the best way to do it is the peer-to-peer conversations, as opposed to individual to big corporation, right? Because
Yeah.
there tends to be different wants and needs when you scale up. So when you look at the granular, the individual, it's a lot easier to find an individual here, find an individual here, and find a way for them to align versus trying to align tons of individuals together, right? So it's really cool to hear more about how your kind of idea started and how you wanted to improve that coordination side. And then you guys started doing it locally and then expanded from there. Do you want to share with us what the Hubs network is, what you guys have been building for the last few years?
Yeah, I mean, last year actually, it's not even that
Wow.
old as a actual operational project. Of course, the idea is there already since basically Akasha Hub started, because in the network there is a lot of amazing and visionary people that all also started their own space in their own countries. So between all these people, there was already like a kind of natural collaboration going on, and been thinking a lot about how can we actually make this better and share the knowledge openly so it has more effect outside of the spaces that we are in. So yeah, the idea existed already a long time, and now we started to actually make it go full on and create frameworks and systems so we can work better together. And if you would imagine how that could work, we decided on some kind of actions that all the hubs share.
Hmm.
It's basically everybody does events. Everybody is usually like receiving people from the community to work on specific projects, and there is also, of course, communication and things like that. And that sounds really down to earth, but we are all doing this in a way that is collaborative, and everybody has their own input and ideas, and there's space for all this to happen. So.
That's awesome. Is it so the Hubs network, is that someone anyone can join from anywhere across the world? Are there specific specifications that you guys are looking for in individuals?
I mean, it's two things. It's mostly like the hubs themselves. They are actually physical spaces. So there, we really support those physical spaces where that are designed for people to come together to really, also from artistic point of view, and like bring people together that thinking differently and creating the future. And yeah, the criteria is more in the sense of mentality rather than discipline. So we have, for example, maker spaces, hacker spaces, co-livings, eco villages. So there is like a different kind of areas, but the mentality is always to create something that is goes beyond your self-interest, and
Yeah.
to open source open knowledge sharing. There needs to be some willingness to share those
Yeah.
knowledge with the other
That
hubs, and from there we go. We can just approach the network. We have like community calls every month where you can be welcome and share what space are you running and why and how, and we like to share all these stories together so we can learn. Mhm.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's, like I was saying, is super aligned. One of the things I'm trying to do out here in Maine is start our hub here for Web3 and just overall emerging technology development, especially in more rural areas,
Mhm.
is sometimes a challenge with distributing out information. So I
Definitely.
really like the power of the knowledge sharing, not only within the hub to its local community, but then its hub to other hubs across the world. And having that open mind to hear about what someone halfway across the world is doing and how something that they're doing might be something that's completely foreign to a community around you, but it might be something or a way that they're doing something that's more effective than you've ever thought of. So I think it can be really powerful. That's my favorite part of the space of Web3 is getting that international community and the international thought of anyone from anywhere can give their thoughts and their opinions and support the progress and add value into an organization. So I think it's really cool to hear about your guys' hubs. You guys have been doing it only for the last year. Do you want to share? I know you're out in Barcelona. That's where the first hub started. Do you want to share some of the other major hubs, or some of the first ones that kind of joined along,
Oh
or
yeah,
what
for
they
sure.
offer?
Yes. So in Europe, there is like already some like big established hubs. One of them is, for example, Liminal Village. This is like 1 hour outside of Rome, in the countryside, and that's really like a place where you can also stay and sleep and doing different projects. It's many of the thought leader that really think about system change, tokenomics, systems, new society structures. They have been passed by there and touched by Roberto, which is one of the core people actually in this area of the Web3. And there is also in Vienna, like 1 hour out of Vienna, also with the train, you can go to the Commons Hub, which is also like in the middle of the mountains. It's wonderful. I just came from there actually. And
That's awesome.
we did a hack the hub, which is like building a sauna and a hot tub. The
Oh,
community comes together to actually help out with specific needs in exchange for staying there and eating and
I really
cooking.
like that. I find that in America, there is sometimes a challenge with the individualism that is just pressed upon our culture. Honestly, I think that I find a lot more people in Web3 when I have a conversation with people in Europe, people in Africa, people outside of the States, they find a way to bring the community together for a collective good, right? Like you just said, come together, build something that everyone can then use. But I do find a challenge in seeing that culture in America today, just based on, XYZ reasons. But I think it's cool for individuals to hear what is happening elsewhere across the world, and the fact that that is not
Mhm.
necessarily normal, right? And the norm is that everyone kind of comes in, pitches in, and supports this community. So it's cool to see and hear about other groups and organizations that are doing that, making that coordination effort happen, and then actually looking then at the data behind all that, instead of just saying, okay, like this is what we're doing and this is how we're doing it, but like this is why we're doing it this way, and this is how you somewhere else can also implement these same ideas.
Yeah, you're spot on. I mean, this is like the uniqueness that we find ourselves in this space, especially with Ethereum. I think that that's the mindset. Like, even big events like DEF CON or like ETH Denver or like any like big conferences, even in the United States, people are coming and volunteering and building it together. Like, it's really like a community effort, and it's very natural to this space. I feel very fortunate to be in that, and that is also with the spaces. I mean, a lot of the things that we are building, that I'm sure you are experiencing, especially if you are trying to build new systems and very future thinking and changing society and doing things differently, but you still have to deal with like whatever rent or filing your taxes or like
Yeah.
like the system things that we have. So when you're building these physical hubs, you find yourself in this limbo between the two systems, no, the one that you are building towards and the one that you are also need to deal with. So it's a kind of unique space, and from my experience, the people that are running those hubs, they have very amazing qualities to to do that, because it's a very hard job to do, and if they can share experiences, that's already worth everything, and it really helps. It really helps,
That's
definitely.
awesome. I love it. It sounds like you guys have, I always like saying, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And I think you guys are so on that track of knowing where you want to go and being consistent towards that goal. So I would love to hear a little bit more about these events you guys got going on. A, I know of an event's coming up, but then B, how you guys organize your events with these hubs across the world. Would love for you to share a little bit more and tell us, how these events get organized, and what the reasoning for that is.
Yeah, the how it's organized. I mean, we called it Plural Events because it's basically started from a collaboration that we have already going since the beginning of Akasha Hub with the Radical Exchange and Audrey Tang. Yeah, I really liked the format that they have in Radical Exchange to kind of like invite different people for one topic that not necessarily agree with each other, and then make this discussion happen, right? So you have different viewpoints. And I was thinking together with Charles as well from the Zudik chapter of Radical Exchange, and Malik from Radical Exchange Foundation, like how can we kind of like scale that concept up into different countries, different cultures, and really have different opinions about one topic and bring that together and see what that looks like. So we started to organize that in a very simple way, like, oh, let's just do it with three, and we just pick one topic and one date, and we do it on the same day and see what happens. And it's kind of like it went pretty viral. The first one, we wanted to do just a mini pilot with three, and then in the end there were 12 chapter leads. Oh yeah, we also want to do it. And it kind of happened like there was just one Excel, everybody puts their stuff and their dates and their location and organizing, and it was actually pretty smooth. And now we are doing the fourth pilot, and we actually have more sponsors and more collaborations here, so I'm super happy, especially because the kind of organizations that really already sharing a lot of values, they really came together. So we have Radical Exchange, of course, then Web3 Privacy Now, and also Logos is there. So yeah, we can really like build up something with these communities together. It would be really cool.
That's awesome. So, do you want to share a little bit more about this upcoming event? You said it's your fourth event. Do you want to share, I know you said that that first one kind of the scope creep came, but that's always what happens, right? When you're planning events, that first one, you guys had 12 communities, 12 organizing leads. Where are you guys at with this upcoming one? How much time do we have left until it? What is, if someone across the world, somewhere out there, hears this and is excited and wants to organize an event in their city, what's the process for them?
Yeah, and we have the next date is the most important thing, is the 14th of May. And
Exactly a month from today. Perfect.
yeah, that's cool. And then exactly 1 month after, we have like a presentation on a big neo-cyberpunk summit of Web3 Privacy Now that is happening in Berlin, which is very exciting place to be anyway. And we have a panel there to present the outcomes of this plural event.
Wow.
So if you are participating, you're contributing with your opinions about this topic in like a very big audience in Berlin, which is very exciting. And yeah, so the 14th of May, if you care about talking about democracy and different tools and how can you actually solve your local challenges, then get in touch with we have a Telegram group specifically for plural events. You will find a lot of other organizers there as well. We already have a template for Luma, so it will be very low boundary for you to set up your own event. And even if you just get like 15 people already together, and even you talk in a bar and have the conversation, that's already worth it. So you don't even need to have a venue or anything like that, although it helps if you have it. But if you don't, it doesn't matter. It's about
Awesome.
the variety of people that we can gather here.
Yeah, no, I think that that's the really cool thing. One of the conferences I went to earlier this year had a tool where all of the side conversations that were happening were being ingested by AI into a knowledge graph. And I think that the power of now taking conversations that are being had in various places all over the globe and now synthesizing that into a document or something that you can review or a piece of content that you can share out of, like, this is, as the Hubs network on 15th of May, this is like the synthesis of our community, what we talked about today. I think it can be really powerful, and the tools are there now where it may have been a little bit more challenging in the past to do it all on your own, especially, and then also with the open source tools to potentially create something that then gets propagated to all of the other hub leaders, right? If I go in and create something that's a net benefit for my event, and it's all open source. It's something that, you change a few words out and you can launch for every single other hub that's out there. So I think
Yeah.
it's really cool to hear the alignment, the way you guys have organized and created this really fancy and special thing out of just conversation, human conversation. And I think that's something that people sometimes take for granted, not realizing like how powerful some of these conversations can be, and like what we can do then after that, right? We have this conversation, but then what's the action that can be taken with that to move forward towards radical change, right? Or anything else.
Yeah, because I think it's about the diversity that for me makes me very passionate about this. Because we have, for example, the network state school in Singapore. They are participating, but in the same time in São Paulo we have someone that is with an organization with homeless people that is also participating. So I'm really really interested in what is the differences of, for example, those two extremes or like other cultures in Europe, and how we can get that together. And yeah, what you said, the tools are very exciting, like from radical exchange, like principles. There is tools like Agora Citizen. I'm not sure you know it. It's like based on Polis. It's really around like statements and conversations around specific topic, but instead and then you can analyze those conversations really in a very interesting grouping patterns, and the algorithm is kind of rewarding more like when we come more together instead of getting more polarized. So you should check out Agora Citizen. They have a really beautiful app going on. We also have another fork of Polis, which is Context Engine. They're also doing now another demo. It's more related to Web3 in the sense that you can also connect your wallet, like instead of a Google account or anything like that. Also Agora, you can do it anonymously as well. So there is like very interesting tools built already around those core values that we are all familiar with here. So that's nice. But we wanted to keep it free for every event to register it how they want, because some of them do not even want to be recorded. Some do not want to include digital tools inside live conversations. Some do have a very nice dynamic between those two. So we would like to keep that free for anybody to even do it better or improve the process.
Yeah, keep it flexible so that each individual can choose what makes the most impact in their local community, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. So we got the May event coming up on the 14th of May. What else is next for the future of the Hubs network? What do you guys got going on? Any upcoming plans for more events? And then I know you had mentioned you guys have a monthly call. When is that normally, and how can people tap in?
Yeah, we have like monthly community calls. And we also, if you want to keep up to date on the website, hubsnetwork.org, there's also a link to our Substack, which, yeah, it's basically the newsletter. So you will know everything that is coming up. And there's some things in the pipeline that maybe I should not tell you yet, but I might do it. We're working on like a product for also to do residencies. That I'm sure like you are more in the artist community, that you are very familiar with this concept, and bringing this more like to the hubs as well with the system. And yeah, that will be another streaming here.
It's that's its own challenge to overcome.
Probably,
right?
yeah.
So I can totally get that. Toss that hubsnetwork.org link down there if anyone wants to tap in, join in. Definitely worthwhile. I'm having a blast seeing the community come together around this upcoming event. I would love to host one here in our main area, but even if we don't get one on this, just hearing more about the hubs and about how different orgs from across the world that are aligned on a specific value set can align. And I think that's really powerful. So, thank you guys for doing what you guys do, being consistent, growing, coming, sharing, your way to make the world better. Do you want to share how people can get in touch with you, how people can connect with you on the socials?
Yeah, that's good. I mean, most of the links you're gonna find it from the website. But yeah, I don't know if I can share some links here, or if you check maybe also the event at in Berlin, Web3 Privacy Now dot. Let me say, I think it's info. Yeah, it's Web3 with the 3 privacy.info. There you can also find more information about the summit, and we're going to be there in the panel, so that will be super interesting to keep following. I think they have a really great community, so yeah, you might feel at
Awesome.
home there.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. We got that link down below as well. I'm really excited to hear how the events go. Maybe we can have another live stream, maybe a little bit longer with some of those hosts, and we can have a specific recap or something of the sorts, because anything I can do to help support this venture, I'm super excited and want to be as involved as I can be. And I think it'll be really powerful to come, a year from now and say, now where are we at? So thank you so much for spending your time here
It's
this
cool. Thank you
afternoon
for
with
supporting us.
me. It was I'm really excited to share it out more with our community. I think there's a lot of people who, maybe not for this event, but after this call, that may start thinking about how they can start affecting their local areas, because I think that's the best way for anyone to move forward more in the Web3 space. I've always found a lot of luck in the IRL, especially in the local community, because it's someone you can meet every day, every couple of weeks, as opposed to once a month or once every few months when you meet someone at a conference. So thank you for your time, Nikoline,
Yeah,
and I
definitely, and
hope
keep in touch. And if you need
yes,
help to build up your hub and anything you need from our side, just
we will
reach out.
100%. You will be hearing from me. Thank you, anyone who's listening in or popped in today. It was a pleasure, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much.
Y'all